What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. We're officially here, ready to rock and roll for our NFL Week 11 picks, predictions, and give you my thoughts on all of these money lines. Should you throw some money on any of these teams, any of these games this weekend? So the first matchup on the slate here for Sunday is the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Browns will be starting DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the rookie quarterback out of UCLA. It will not be PJ Walker. And if you did not know, Deshaun Watson is out for the rest of the year. He did do something to his shoulder, and he's done. So it's a big bummer for the Browns. And the big question to ask yourself here between these two games, or between these two teams this weekend, it's a good old AFC North matchup. Probably gonna be really close. I wouldn't throw any money on this personally. It's just not a good idea. Very close game, could go either way. It's a flip of a coin for this one. But the biggest question to ask yourself, the biggest difference in this game will be which quarterback makes more mistakes. Which quarterback is responsible for more turnovers? The quarterback or the team that has the more turnovers, that gives the ball away more, will lose this football game because both defenses are great. Both defenses can turn the ball over. Both defensive lines can get after your quarterback. But the difference is, kind of a weird difference is the Browns' offensive line is pretty good offensive line, but the Steelers' defense line, T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, they're going to make plays. It doesn't matter who they're lining up across from. They're going to make plays. And the first game we saw from DTR, he looked horrible. Let's be straight up honest. DTR did not look good. He was holding the ball too long. He just wasn't looking good. A lot of it was his fault. Turnover machine. And if he looks anything like he did versus the Ravens this weekend versus the Steelers, the Browns will not win this football game. Unless the defense just gets that many turnovers and Kenny Pickett is just as bad. But I would, at this point in time, I would take Kenny Pickett over DTR. And one thing the Steelers did last weekend, which was very good to see, was very nice to see, is they actually ran the ball really well. Now, they played one of the worst run defenses in the league, but this week, they're playing a team has a very good defense, one of the best pass defenses in the league. But one of their weaknesses on defense is their run defense. You can't run against the Browns. You can't get the run game going. If the Steelers can get that run game going, they should win this football game. And I'm going to go out on a bold prediction to say that they get 100-plus rushing yards. I think they're going to get the run game going a little bit. I think the Steelers are going to win this game. And I got the Steelers taking it 17-13. I think Kenny Pickett's going to make that extra play. I do like DTR. I did like him coming out, but he's playing another really tough defense. Now, he did have a couple weeks. Maybe sit back, learn, see what he did wrong, watch some film, maybe, get some intense training in. But it takes more time than that. It takes more time than than he's had. So, taking the Steelers, 17-13. I would not touch the money line. It's the AFC North matchup. They're always close. It's a defensive matchup. This game can go either way. But I'm taking the Steelers 17-13. I think T.J. Watt is going to make the extra play. Or, Minka. Wait, no. So Minka is a game time decision. But, either way, I think I heard Keanu Neal is dealing with some kind of injury too. So that's something to monitor. Even if they're not 100%, it could make a difference in this game. But I'm still taking the Steelers. I think the Steelers win this one. I think they give DTR a rough time all day long. Now the Browns defense will give Kenny Pickett a rough day all day long. But I'm going to take the Steelers to beat the Browns. This one could go either way, really. But I'm taking the Steelers in this one. Next up, Detroit Lions at home taking on the Chicago Bears. This time we have an NFC North matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. So the Bears have gotten some offense going lately, but it won't be Tyson Bagent starting this weekend. It seems like it's going to be Justin Fields. Now, Fields won't be 100%. He probably won't be. But I'm excited to see if he can finally put it all together. He's had a couple weeks. Yeah, he was hurt, but he has had a couple weeks to reevaluate how he has done this season so far. Now, is he really going to make that jump in 3 weeks when he couldn't have made it in 2.5 years prior? Probably not. But one thing the Bears have going for them in this game is that the Lions' passing defense has not been very good. If they get the passing game going, they can maybe keep it close. But the Bears like to run the football. And the Lions are very good against the run. That's their strength. So Justin Fields is going to have to win the game with his arm. He's probably going to have to win the game on his own. I think he's capable. He's a big-time playmaker. Whenever he's on the field, he's a home run waiting to happen. But quarterbacking, having experience, serving, reading the field, he's not really there. So, he's going to make a couple mistakes. He's going to be responsible for a couple of turnovers. And the Lions are going to control this game. They're going to run the football. They're going to limit the Bears' possessions. And that's the last thing that the Bears want, because Justin Fields in the offense is inconsistent. But Fields also kind of opens up some more of the offense with his running ability. I mean, Tyson Bagent can run as well, but he's nowhere near the athletic ability that Justin Fields is at. But I think the Lions could win by more than 7.5 points. They're going to be able to, Justin Fields is going to turn the ball over a couple times. He may not even be 100%. We'll see how the offensive line plays against a pretty good defensive line. They're going to stop the run, and Lions, they're going to take advantage of some of those turnovers. So I don't see any reason why the Lions cannot win by more than a touchdown. I would put money on the Lions in this game, 100%, and I'm taking the Lions 31-16 to beat their division rival in the Chicago Bears. Next up, third game on the slate. The Packers are at home versus the Chargers. So the Packers, obviously, they played the Steelers last week, and they really struggled to stop the run. And the Steelers are a team that has really struggled to run the football. Now you're playing a team that has ran the football well. You have one of the more athletic running backs in the league, one of the more dynamic athletes. But he's also a very good running back, a very good football player. Austin Eckler is amazing. He's awesome. And it could be a long day because the Chargers' offensive line has been better. They're going to be able to run the ball. And then on top of that, the Chargers could stop the run. So the Chargers will be able to control this game. They will probably be able to do whatever they want. And I would, I think the Chargers only being favored by 3 is pretty interesting. I thought they would have been favored by more. And, the issue with the Packers is Jordan Love is too inconsistent. I think they have some weapons. The offensive line has been horrible. Haven't really, the running game has been inconsistent because of how bad the offensive line has been. And, for how bad Jordan Love is, teams are just stacking the box and saying, hey, Jordan Love, you're going to have to beat us. You're going to have to throw the football to beat us. And I don't think Jordan Love can do that. So it's going to continue to be a rough stretch in the second half of the season for the Packers and Jordan Love. And I will say, though, Jordan Love and the Packers in this offense were getting some nice deep plays in there. They were getting some bigger plays in there, which they haven't usually had. But I don't think they're going to do it this week versus the Chargers 2 weeks in a row. No, Jordan Love is too inconsistent, man. He overthrows too many footballs. He underthrows, and then when he's on target, the ball placement isn't great. The receiver has to make a circus catch to keep running. And that's the difference from maybe getting 3 yards on the 3rd and 3 versus 1 or 2. And that's going to be a difference in this game. I think, the Chargers can win by more than 7. But I'm going to say it's going to be a little more closer of a game than maybe a lot expect. Will it? Probably not. But this is just my score prediction. I just put it out there. I do think the Chargers will win. They should absolutely win by more than 3. I would put, if there's a game to put money on this weekend, this is a game to do it. The Chargers over the Packers, and they're only favored by 3 points. Absolutely, I would smash that money line for the. I would smash the line for the Chargers and put a lot of money on them if you were looking to put a lot of money on this weekend, because the Chargers, like I said, they've been better at stopping the run. So they'll stop the run. They'll run themselves. They'll limit the possessions. The Packers get on top of that. Jordan Love will probably turn the ball over a couple times. I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers, struggled to get to 14 points in this game. But, yeah, I have the Chargers 27-20, and the Chargers should be able to get things going on offense, running the football, then it'll open things up in the passing game for one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Chargers have this one in the bag. This is probably this is one of the games I am most confident about, along with the Lions over the Bears. Speaking of games I'm confident about, I'm very confident in the Miami Dolphins beating the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, I can see the Dolphins putting up much more than 34 points. And, it's kind of crazy to say, but the Dolphins just have that kind of offense. They're coming off the bye. They're coming off a loss. They're mad. And they're going from playing a really good defense to a very bottom tier, bottom shelf defense in the Raiders. This offense will have no trouble moving the ball. They'll be able to run the football. They'll be able to pass the football. They're going to be able to do whatever they want. So now for the Raiders on offense, the Dolphins aren't really great at stopping the run. You can't really look at the Dolphins' defensive rank because they've gotten a lot of players healthy lately. You know, Jalen Ramsey's back. You have X. You have a lot of really good playmakers on there, Javon Holland. And I think their running back is coming back soon, Devon Archer, and I think I saw that he is coming back soon, so that's a big win. I don't see why the Dolphins can't cover this line. I don't see why they can't score more than 14 points or win by more than 12 points. It shouldn't be an issue because they're going to be able to drive up and down the field like it's nothing on the Raiders. They don't really have a good defense. Really, all the Raiders have going for them is Max Crosby, and he could wreck a game with himself, but it's not going to be enough when you have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and all you have to do is dump the ball off to these guys and throw it short because of what they can do after the catch. So the Dolphins should have no issue. I would put money on the Dolphins, even though it's a bigger line. I wouldn't normally touch games with the bigger line because you really never know. But I think this is one of those instances where you could take this line and I think you'd be fine. I think if you throw a few bucks in this game, I think you win a couple bucks. So I'm taking the Dolphins 34-20. I don't think there's any reason to suspect that the Raiders will, that their offense can keep up with the Dolphins. Dolphins' defense is better, and the Raiders' offense isn't as good as the Dolphins. So, one thing the Raiders may be able to do is run the football. As I kind of touched on earlier, the Dolphins, their weakness is their run defense. So maybe the Raiders can get that run game going and kind of keep that Dolphins offense off the field, control the game. That's their best shot at it, but they have not really ran the football well either. So I'm taking Dolphins 34-20, and even if the Raiders do get the run game going, the Dolphins can go down the field and score so fast because the Raiders' defense isn't that good. So I have Dolphins 34-20. Next up, you have the Commanders over the Giants. The Commanders are favored by a whopping 9.5 points. I'm going to tell you why you should and should not bet on this game. This game is, I wouldn't. To give you why I wouldn't. It's a divisional game. And just 4 or 5 weeks ago, the Giants held the Commanders to just 14 points. And the Commanders have a really good offense. Sam Howell has been awesome. He's been absolutely incredible. I think he's leading the league in passing yards and he's up there in passing touchdowns. He's been absolutely incredible, and he can run the ball as well. And for the offensive line that he's dealing with, and having to go through what he's going through, I think he's sacked 49, 50 times. He is one of the most sacked quarterbacks. He's one of the most hit and pressured quarterbacks. Yet, he's playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the league. That's impressive. And, he's done well against some of the better teams in the NFL. Look at the Eagles. He had no problem against the Eagles both times. He killed the Eagles. And he has good weapons. He has Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin. He has some good weapons around him, good running backs, and Gibson and Brian Robinson can come out of the backfield and make plays. But the offensive line, if you get an offensive line around him, this offense can be wow. This offense can be fireworks. And I think it's going to be too much for the Giants. And if if it's Tommy DeVito or Tyrod Taylor, if it's Tyrod Taylor, this game will probably be closer. If it's Tommy DeVito, the game probably won't be that close. I mean, like I've said so many times, this Giants offense is very predictable. It's they're going to run the ball at Barkley and try and get this offense going through Barkley. Now, if Tyrod Taylor's in there, this offense will look a little more competent. It'll be a little more smooth. But it's not going to be enough to outscore the Commanders. They have a much better offense. The Giants' defense is much better, and Deonte Banks has played really well this season. But there's only so much you can do with that defense can do. But their run defense and their defensive line's been getting at it. The Giants' defense line, anyways, without Chase Young. And Montez Sweat, that'll definitely take some of the pressure off the opposing quarterback. The Giants' offensive line has been so bad, along with the Commanders. I just think that the difference in this game is going to be the quarterback play. And Sam Howell has been great. He's been absolutely phenomenal. So, Sam Howell, taking the Washington Commanders and Sam Howell. I would not take this line, though. I think they can put up a lot of points, but I mean, it's a divisional game, and the Giants are going to pressure Sam Howell all day long. They're going to stop the run. The Giants can maybe find a way to, control the game with Barkley if they get the run game going. That could help open things up in the passing game. But I mean, Tommy DeVito, he's not very good, in that. But yeah, I'm taking the Commanders 24-16. I don't think they're going to have too much of an issue putting up points, but you never know. It's a divisional game. That's why I'm not touching the line. I don't normally like to touch lines in divisional games unless it's one of the teams are just astronomically much better, and or there's a lot of injuries, or I don't really like to touch divisional games. All right, the Panthers and the Cowboys. I mean, what is there to really say about this game? The Cowboys should dominate in all three phases of the game. They're going to get after Bryce Young. Bryce Young's probably going to turn the ball over a couple times, and there's only so much Bryce Young can do, He can't catch the football. He can't get open for himself. He can't block. Bryce Young is only one person. He's a quarterback. He can only play one position at a time, and there's only so much you could do against the Cowboys. I mean, we saw last week what the Giants were able to do. I mean, they put up 17 points, but a lot of it was garbage time. The Panthers, I'm not expecting much out of the Panthers either. So I got the Cowboys 31-9. I feel like 10.5 points. That is a lot of points, but I feel like that's a little low. I mean, I feel like this could have been one of the bigger lines throughout the weekend. Maybe Vegas knows something that we don't. But I have all the confidence in the world in the Cowboys win by more than 10 points. They should have no issues whatsoever. I'll throw some money on it. I'm taking the Cowboys 31-9. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys score more. The Cowboys should finally be able to get the run game going. Tony Pollard has not looked that good this season, but he should be able to get going this game, or whoever's running the football. All right, Jaguars at home versus the Tennessee Titans. I mean, the Jaguars looked horrible last week, and this is a divisional game, and the Jaguars are favored by 7 points. I feel like that's a bit. I mean, the Jaguars have been one of the better teams in football. It's not last week, of course. They really struggled, and the Niners were coming off of a 3-game losing skid themselves. So, I mean, I think both teams were on bye as well, so they both had extra time, so you can't really blame that on, either side. You can't really give anyone the advantage there. They both had the maximum amount of time to prepare, unless it was a week 1 game. You get a lot of time there, but, I mean, the way to beat the Titans is to throw the ball downfield, is deep passing. They're gonna do good against short passes. They're gonna do a decent job at stopping the run. But the Jaguars have the offense to put the big plays on. They have Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne. You could even guide out to him in the in the backfield, and he'll make a couple plays, make some guys miss. Maybe, I know I have the Jaguars winning by 11 points. It may seem like a lot. I mean, we'll see what kind of Jaguars team we get. Are we going to get a really good Jaguars team? Are they going to come out strong? Are they going to play the entire game strong? Or is it going to be one of those Jaguars teams that's going to be inconsistent? You don't know. And putting all those things together, I wouldn't have bet on this game. I feel like 7 points a lot. And I have them winning by 11 points, so I may be contradicting myself, and it doesn't make sense what I'm saying, and I understand that, but I'm banking. I am taking the chance. I'm banking on just my prediction. I'm not putting money on this game that Jaguars will win by more than 10 points, because they will be on it. They will be mad, and they're at home as well, so that's what they have going for them. I wouldn't bet on it personally. I would not touch it. 7 points, that's a lot. The Jaguars have been inconsistent, and it's a divisional game, so I'm staying away from it. Up to you, but I had the Jaguars winning by 11. All right, next up, this is a trap game. This has trap game written all over it. The Texans, young football team, all the hype is around them, and rightfully so. Coming into this season, I was one of the few people saying, hey, Texans are sneaky. No one listened to me. No one listened. The Texans are sneaky. And, their offense, it's looking great with C.J. Stroud. And their defense is a playmaking defense, right? They're going to allow a lot of yards, but they're going to force turnovers, and that's a big plus with the Texans defense. Sometimes allowing a lot of yards is, but if you're getting turnovers, I mean, it's kind of it's not really justified, but it definitely helps, and you'd rather get turnovers than not. But this has trap game written all over them, right? Kyler Murray's coming back. He's 100%, and he's with a new coaching staff, so the way they call plays are a little different. It could be a long day for the Texans. It could be, in terms, they're favored by 4.5, which, if everything goes right, if the Texans, it's a young football team, looking back at that Bengals game, like, we beat Joe Burrow, we beat the Bengals, one of the better teams in the AFC, even though the record didn't say it. Poor Joe Burrow, he is out for the rest of the year. He's going through the same thing Andrew Luck went through, unfortunately, but that's what it is. The Bengals better start protecting Joe Burrow. But back on track here with the Texans, it's a young team coming off a huge win. Coming off 2 games in a row. CJ Stroud is the first rookie quarterback ever to have 2 consecutive games with game-winning drives. And there's a lot of hype. I could see this being a game where Kyler Murray and the Cardinals play spoiler. They get a big win here, and they just upset the Texans. Now, I do think the Texans are the much better football team, but I can see an upset here. I can see, this Cardinals team is going to play everyone tough. Coaching has been very good. Kyler Murray's coming back. You kind of have to relearn the offense. The offense is very different. Well, it's not too much different because Josh Dobbs likes to run a lot, but I'm taking Texans. I'm still taking Texans by 1. I think it's going to be a very close game. I can see CJ Stroud having another game-winning drive. But I'm warning you now, don't be shocked if the Cardinals pull this one out and surprise a lot of people. Next up, you have the Niners and the Buccaneers. So, Niners looked like themselves last week versus the Jaguars. They absolutely killed them. They slaughtered them. And the Bucs, they did a pretty good job against Will Levis and the Titans. But now you're playing Brock Purdy. Now you're playing Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. It's a little different. And we saw a couple weeks ago what happened when the Bucs played a Shanahan-style offense when they played the Texans. Of course, DeMeco Ryans is from the Shanahan tree. So, I don't see any reason why, talent-wise. And, the Bucs have a good defense. They do, but Todd Bowles is an aggressive guy. He likes man coverage. He likes his blitzes. He likes blitzing your quarterback. But that simply does not work against the way Kyle Shanahan likes to call plays. He can call crossers. You got guys that can get open against man, no issue. I think this is a really good matchup for the Niners, really. They have really good defense. Mayfield has been good this year, but Mayfield, he's inconsistent. You don't know what you're getting from play to play, drive to drive, even game to game. It's just one of those guys. But, he's been clutch in big-time moments. He's been clutch on third downs, fourth quarter. It seemed like he's played his best ball. But the Niners are going to be too much for Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. So I'm taking the Niners 31-13. Do you take the line? Yeah, I would bet on the Niners because the Buccaneers are coming from all the way from Florida, coming all the way to San Fran, and they're gonna have to pull a miracle out of their butt if they want to make this game close and win it. But I have the Niners. They're getting back on track. They're getting going. They're healthy again. They should have no issues whatsoever beating up on the Buccaneers. Like I said, the Buccaneers defense, it's a decent defense, but it's the matchup on why I have the Niners scoring 31 points and winning pretty comfortably. I would put some money on them. All right, next up, this game, tough game to predict. Tough game, because it's really easy to look at the last couple weeks and what have happened with the Bills. I think what is wrong with the Bills is that offense is very predictable. Josh Allen is the type of quarterback that you want him to improvise. You want him to be superhero, but you also want to limit that superhero-ness, if that's a word. You want him to limit that and trying to make big plays all the time because we've seen recently, Josh Allen, he's turning the ball over a lot. He's fumbling. He's throwing a lot of interceptions. It's been bad, and I think there's something going on behind the scenes between him and Diggs, and I don't know. It just seems like something's not right. But hopefully having the quarterback coach up, I forgot what his name was. I think it's something Brady. I'm happy they get rid of Ken Dorsey because he's been too predictable. I mean, you have Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. You're not really doing a good job getting anyone else involved. Really, you have a young tight end who has looked really good this year. You have Gabriel Davis. You have Khalil Shakir who's looked pretty good this year so far. Now this entire Bills team is they're just inconsistent. They're kind of like the Jags. They're just an inconsistent football team, and Josh Allen isn't looking good. He's inconsistent with the ball. He can't get going. He can't get focused this season. I don't know what he is. He better get it figured out soon. But I think they get something figured out here. I wouldn't touch this game, especially since it is a divisional game. There's not every divisional game I say don't touch, but divisional games tend to be closer. The opponents know each other really well, and usually it's a dogfight. It's like a chess match. But favored by 7, I feel like it's a lot of points for a defense. The Jets have a really good defense. They've done a very good job so far this year. They've done really good against the Eagles' offense. They stopped the Eagles' run, which not a lot of teams have been able to do. They did a very good job against Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had his worst game of the season versus the Jets. They did very good versus Mahomes. The Jets they did good against the Chargers. They're really good defensively, and that gives them the chance to win every game. But Zach Wilson kind of takes that chance away every single game. He's not a great quarterback. He's looked better than he has in the past, but it's not really saying much. He's not accurate. He's inconsistent with his accuracy. His footwork is inconsistent. His mechanics are all over the place. And I'm going to trust Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and what they have over there in Buffalo to make that extra play. 21-15, my score prediction is going to be a close game, going to be a good game, but I'm taking Buffalo to win. I think the Bills are going to get something figured out, and they're going to have something to build on from this game. Taking Bills 21-15. I still wouldn't touch the money line, though. I still wouldn't touch the line. Next up, you got the Rams and the Seahawks. So Matthew Stafford will be coming back this week, and that's going to be the difference. The Seahawks, for a change, they were able to be... what is the word I'm looking for? They were able to... I'm completely missing the word to be clutch. The Seahawks offense was finally clutch last week, but they played one of the worst defenses in the league, and now they're playing a middle-of-the-road defense. The Rams' defense is okay. It's not great. It's not special. But the Seahawks, they struggle on third down. They struggle in the red zone. They struggle, from drive to drive to keep drives going, and they might not have Tyler Lockett. That's a big loss. And with all that being said, I'm gonna trust Matthew Stafford and Puka and Kupp. I'm gonna trust those guys to make that extra play over what the Seahawks have. DK is good as well. He's a big time playmaker. He does have a couple drops here and there where you really gotta catch those, man. But the Rams, they've been good. They've been very good. Well, no, I pretend I didn't say that. I don't know why I say that. Every week I have this moment where I say a bad team that has played bad. I've said they've been pretty good. I don't know why my mind does it. I don't know. But the Rams, they should win this. I'm taking Matthew Stafford. The Seahawks, they have a very good defense. They do. But when you're playing such a good quarterback and he's got good weapons, he's got good coaching, it's not going to be enough. It's an offensive league, and there's only so much a defense could do. I want to trust Matthew Stafford on third down and in the red zone much more than I would trust the Seahawks on third down in the red zone. I have the Rams 24-20. I wouldn't touch this game. It's only a 1 point. The Rams are given 1 point. I wouldn't touch it. All right, next up on the slate. Man, we finally get a Sunday night football game. Both of these teams aren't powerhouses, but they're two teams that have really interesting stories coming into this game. You have the Broncos, and Russell Wilson has turned the clock back a couple of years. He's looked phenomenal. Has a ton of touchdowns. I think he's thrown 18 touchdowns so far. He has a lot of yards. He's been running the football, and Sean Payton's been getting him going. I really liked what Sean Payton has been able to do with this football team. And it feels like they're getting off the ground running. They're doing pretty good, but I think that's going to come to an end this weekend. I think the Minnesota Vikings are a little better than the Broncos. I think they're a better overall team. The defense has been good for the Vikings. And the Broncos defense has been very good too. But then, the other storyline on the other side is you have Joshua Dobbs coming into Minnesota, and it was 4 or 5 days he was there, and he led, and he looked like an awesome quarterback versus the Falcons. He had a big-time game-winning drive versus the Falcons. Next week, he looked great again versus the Saints. In the first half, the Vikings looked like the best team in football. And both of these teams have had stretches throughout the season where they play great in the first half or they play great in the second half, but then it's been the opposite. Both of these teams throughout the season, they've had times where they played good in the first half and they sucked in the second half. Both of them have had those moments. Have had those kind of games. And I'm going to trust Josh Dobbs a little more with Jordan Addison. I think Justin Jefferson might be coming back this week. I'm not sure, but if Jefferson comes back this week, it's going to look even better for the Vikings. And with the Vikings, with Joshua Dobbs, the Broncos have struggled versus the quarterbacks that can run. Now they did a good job against Josh Allen, right? But take that for what you will. Josh Allen's a very good running quarterback. He loves to run the football. He loves to run people over and put his body into harm's way. But I think the Vikings have been doing much better offensively. They've been coached much better. I think they've been playing to their strengths much better than the Bills. They're not very predictable, and especially, with having a brand new quarterback that has a completely different skill set than Kirk Cousins. Every team that's going to face the Vikings, they have to, when you're watching film, you can't watch any film with Kirk Cousins in this offense because it's a completely different offense. And credit to the coaching staff. They've gotten Josh Dobbs ready. They've gotten this team ready under wild circumstances. It's impressive. And, you could say, once the tape gets out, it's going to be more difficult and this Vikings offense is going to have to evolve. But to be honest with you, the only way for this Vikings offense is up. Because Joshua Dobbs is only going to learn the playbook more. He's only going to learn the system more. Now, there's only so much that you can implement in the middle of the season. But the point is, the Vikings offense will continue to evolve. Will it be able to outpace and out-evolve the defenses that prepare and start having schemes and preparing better schemes and game plans against Josh Dobbs in this offense? So what's going to be a difference in this game? What's going to be a difference? Is Russell Wilson going to look like the way he has? Is Joshua Dobbs going to look like the way he has? Both teams are on winning streaks. Something's got to end, and this is a really fun Sunday Night Football matchup. Now, are they two powerhouses, great football teams? No, but there's two really good stories, and we're going to learn a lot about this game. Me personally, I know I've said I wouldn't have bet on a lot of these games this weekend, but I wouldn't really bother this one. It's going to be another really close one. It's a coin flip. I have no clue where this one will go. But if I had to pick, I'm gonna take the Vikings. I think the Vikings have a little edge here. I think they're gonna run the football a little better, and the Broncos' run defense it hasn't been great. And I think the Vikings are gonna be able to run them. And I think that's gonna be a difference. I may end up changing this prediction because it's a very toss-up, close, difficult game to predict. But I have the Vikings 24-17. I think the Vikings can win it. I think they can get the job done. All right, last but not least, this is another one I may change and look out for. We will be getting back to our Monday night and our MNF and TNF previews. We'll be going live every day next week, and that's where it will take place. I'll also cut up into a video. But last but not least, game of the week for me, one of the game of the weeks, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. We've been waiting, man. We've been waiting. The Eagles, I think both teams are coming off the bye, aren't they? And yes, both the Eagles and the Chiefs were on bye last week. So they both have had extra time to prep. They both had extra time to get healthy. I think Nick Bolton's out for this game, so that's a big loss. But the Chiefs are more of a passing defense than a run defense, right? But they're also can't stop the run. They have Chris Jones. They have Mike Donna. They have George Karlaftis. They could stop the run. And I could see them. They've had a really good passing defense. And I can see them doing a good job against this Eagles running game. And Jalen Hurts is going to have to come out. Jalen Hurts is finally going to have to put it together. He has not put together a game this season. He's actually had a good game or two here and there. But he has not been consistent. And when the opposing team stops the run, he tends to struggle when he has to put the game on his shoulders. And I think the Chiefs are going to do that. The Chiefs are going to be able to do that. And I'm going to trust Patrick Mahomes in that offense to make an extra play over the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the big difference in this one, It's a tough line. Leaving this one completely up to you. I'm not betting on it. I won't. But the Chiefs, they don't have the extra firepower outside of Mahomes, and the offense has struggled, right? I mean, they lost to the Broncos, a couple weeks ago. They definitely have had their blemishes, but the Eagles have had as well. But both have had their byes. Both are going to be the best versions of themselves. Are going to have the best possibility to be themselves. Both, they've had extra training, extra rest, extra practice, extra studying, extra film. But I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to prevail. I think they're going to come out on top. I think they're going to stop the run. They're going to force Jalen Hurts to beat them. And Patrick Mahomes is going to make that extra play. That Chiefs offense line is very good. It's one of the best in the league. The Chiefs offense is very similar to the Washington football team's offense, or the Washington Commanders. It's an Eric Bieniemy type of offense. Where do you think Eric Bieniemy got his offense from? Andy Reid. There you go. And now you're facing an offense very similar. Sam Howell he's played great, but he's no Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes doesn't really have the weapons Howell has, but Mahomes does have a slew of weapons that can get the job done. Someone will likely step up. The Eagles won't really have one to know to cover. So for that reason, I'm taking the Chiefs. The way they play their offense, their defense is going to struggle. I have the Chiefs taking this one, 28-24. And that is all I got this week for you guys. Thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. Hope that you enjoyed this weekly predictions episode. I had a good time making it. I had a good time talking about all the teams and going through everything. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So make sure you guys let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow along. And that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. Remember, if you liked, make sure to comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you can see future videos. We do this every single week. We do power rankings, all that stuff. So that's all I got for you guys today. JDW Sports Talk Show, signing off.